That was too fast. We gotta run it back. Welcome to KO Bets. My name is Bill. This is the show where we go through, give our picks and predictions for the upcoming UFC event for the weekend. This weekend we've got not a great card. There's a couple of interesting fights on here, but we'll see how it goes. It's UFC Fight Night, Holm versus Viera. Little housekeeping we got to get out of the way first. Last week, we had some amazing bets. We made some amazing predictions. Jan Blachowicz plus 450 for the knockout. There were some over bets that we placed. There were some under bets that we placed. Did really well. I can't even remember who he was facing, really. But Andre Petrosky. Nick Maximov. That was a bummer. Little bit of we came out of the gates a little with a flat tire. Again. So that's just because we're all gamblers and we all appreciate statistics. I'm 0-3 in the last 3 weeks on the first fight, predicting the first fight of the night. And that one I thought we'd get. Nick Maximov was like minus 385. You know, he was a clear favorite. Stylistically, it was a tough opponent, right? Another grappler came into the octagon with him, but I mean, we can't buy a freaking win in the first matchup. So keep that in mind as I make my predictions today. Give you the NFT update. I put it there in the chat, but we're getting closer. I mean, we're at 28 out of 100 total subscribers. I think we could get there by the end of the year. I am going to give away UFC strike moments at every significant milestone just to give thanks to people that are supporting me. I'll probably do one at 50, if I'm being honest, just because I think that would be fun, and maybe it'll stir up a little bit of hype, just with friends. Someone will have something they took away from the show that they could, share with friends and family. They could ask, how'd you get that? I got it from KO Bets. So that's the whole goal of the NFT giveaway, is just to give thanks and support people that are supporting me. I'll show off the NFT collection I've got on the show today. We'll show that off just so you can take a look at it. It's going to be UFC strike moments too. It's going to be match the theme of the show. Trying to think. Basketball, we've got the Heat and the Celtics. That should be a pretty good series. It's tied 1-1. And then we've got the Golden State Warriors and the Mavs. I'll give my predictions later in the show on that. I am rolling with the Warriors again at home tonight. The over-under is 214.5. I'm not betting I'm not betting the over-under. I bet the over last game. I think it was pretty identical, maybe 213.5, and the Mavs just didn't show up. Both teams are capable of playing great defense, so it's a tough game. I've got like a little prop bet, same game parlay kind of out there with prop bets with different players, but as far as wagering a significant amount on the contest, no. But the over-under, I've seen a trend with the over-under for the Heat Celtics, 206.5. I mean, I know they're good defensive teams, but come on. This is the NBA. Every team averages like 110 points, so easily covered that the past couple of games. So just keep an eye on that line moving forward. Without further ado, let's get into the UFC fights for tomorrow night. We've got Holm taking on Viera in the main event, but before that, we've got 10 other fights to preview here and give our picks and predictions on. So this is where we come out the gate with a flat tire, and I'm going to be honest, like, this is a week you just want to be careful betting on these fighters. Like, you know, there's two different philosophies you could kind of roll with, I think, with fighters of this caliber. You know, you either feed them to a prospect that you're super high on and you want to generate some hype behind, or you pair them up against someone else who's struggling. And I think that's kind of the story of this card, is we've got, you know, and you don't have to look much further past the first matchup here. We've got Elise taking on Sam Hughes. Elise is the slight favorite at -155. Sam Hughes, slight underdog at +135. Sam Hughes, stylist. She's 1-3 in the UFC. She was 0-3, won her last fight. She was 0-4. There would be no way I would ever bet on a fighter like Sam Hughes if she was 0-4. But the last fight, she showed a little bit of something. She was persistent with her grappling pursuit, and she just looked super competitive and looked like she was trying to force the grappling exchanges. So that was a positive we could take away from her last performance. Elise on the other hand, she's gonna have a clear advantage on the feet. Probably needs to avoid Sam Hughes in terms of the takedowns. She needs to avoid those. I mean, I've been going back and forth on this. I think, and we'll get into this, I think an intelligent bet's maybe betting the over, and the over's not great, or maybe that the fight goes the distance. But Elise is a little bit smaller. I believe she fought at an even lighter weight class before this, so Sam Hughes should have a lot of size advantage in this fight. And as long as she's pursuing consistent takedowns, I like her to win this matchup. She's not going to win on the feet. She's going to get destroyed on the feet. If the fight stays on the feet, she's going to lose 3 rounds. It's going to be 30-27 best case scenario for her if she's just looking to point strike against a fighter like Elise who's a good boxer. She did get knocked out by Sijara Eubanks, but Eubanks has some power and is also a good boxer. Step up in terms of caliber. So if we're looking at the odds makers, I'm sure they like this one to go the distance. Yeah, -300. I mean, for Sam Hughes, out of her 6 wins, we're looking at a total of 4 combined stoppages. 3 were submissions. For Elise out of her 5 wins, 2 KO wins. I mean, they've both been subject to being finished in the UFC. I mean, when I do my round robin, kind of approach that I like to take every week, where I'm just like choosing random outcomes, money line picks, and I'm just, it's kind of this philosophy, like I've picked money line, like the money line predictions correct on 70% of the time, you know. I'm a little more accurate when I mix in predictions like over-unders, that sort of stuff, and as opposed to picking money line. So it's just this philosophy, if you do like 2, 4, even 5 pick parlays, I'm going to come out positive is the idea. So what I'm kind of targeting in this fight is that the fight goes the distance at minus 300. I mean, it could be a scenario where it's won by split or majority decision. There's just such a talent discrepancy when you compare the two fighters and their skill sets. Like, Elise is going to look good on the feet. All fights start off standing. I'm hoping Sam Hughes found something in her last fight. She's able to carry over that competitive nature into this fight and secure takedowns on a consistent basis. And if she does that, I think she'll win. That's what I think. So we're rolling with Sam Hughes on the money line, but probably a more intelligent bet, in my opinion, is just to bet that the fight's going to go the distance. I think there are same game parlays now for the UFC. So, you know, you could probably see total seconds, total minutes, total rounds. Maybe we could yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of confused. So why is a decision minus 360 here, but not here? Maybe because of the DQ aspect? Not really sure, but that's a little odd. But that's why we look at the odds, to find weird stuff. So, yeah, I'm thinking some sort of decision from either fighter. Next fight, Chase Hooper taking on Felipe Kolaris. Chase Hooper, super young still, has a lot of room to grow, especially in the stand-up department. Very good jiu-jitsu artist, kind of tricky. If I'm being honest, I'm not a huge fan of his game yet, but like I said, I think he's like 22 years old or something like that, so he's got a lot of room to grow into this. He also hasn't fought in almost a year, so I would expect him to show some sort of improvements. He's 2-2 in the UFC. Felipe Kolaris, on the other hand, he's got kind of a wild, reckless stand-up approach. Chase Hooper's 0-2 in decisions. His 2 losses have come via decision. I don't know. For this one, I mean, it's one of those situations where, like, Chase Hooper could lose a majority of the fight and then get some sort of submission attempt off against, you know, who I perceive to be kind of a reckless fighter in Felipe Kolaris. And that's all it'll take, right? Just that one submission attempt, and then they could, you know, he could maybe finish the fight. I kind of like this one to not go the distance. We're looking at the odds makers. They do like it to go the distance. I mean, this one's tough. I'm going to roll with Felipe Kolaris just because I think that's the intelligent bet to make, right? If it's going to be a decision, it's going to be Felipe Kolaris. If it's a knockout, it's going to be Felipe Kolaris. If it's a submission, there's probably a good chance, yeah, it's going to be Chase Sherman who ends this fight. As far as the winning methods, I just don't know. Unless we see some sort of significant improvements from Chase Hooper, I just don't know how he wins a decision in any circumstance. So I guess if you like Chase Hooper. Sorry, I'm getting a low battery now. There we go. One second. This could be disastrous, folks. Hold on a second. Right, I'm plugged in, but for some reason, yeah, for some reason my battery is not charging. Now it is. Now it is. Let's see if I can get the webcam working again real quick. I apologize about this, everyone. There we go. I think we're safe here now. This is using the power adapter, so I think we're good. I think we're in a good spot here. I'm sweating like crazy. It's freaking humid. It's hot as hell. Sorry, before I had a little bit of a panic attack there. Let's see. Yeah, I think if you like Chase Hooper, like why not go for the submission plus 500? I think that's like how it would, in all likelihood, that's how it would happen. Felipe Kolaris, all three of his losses were decisions. He's okay in the grappling department himself, so he's just got to stay safe, obviously, against a fighter like Chase Hooper, not follow him to the mat. Chase Hooper pulls guard a lot when he's losing on the feet. Just don't get lured in by that, but I think Felipe Kolaris should win this. The next fight is Jonathan Martinez taking on Vince Morales. Jonathan Martinez, actually pretty heavy favorite. He's minus 235, taking on Vince Morales plus 190. If we're comparing the two fighters, I would anticipate this fight plays out on the feet. Will give Vince Morales maybe a little bit of a grappling advantage if it does get there. I like Jonathan Martinez a lot in this fight. I like him, he's just got to stay safe, avoid kind of the power punching prowess of Vince Morales. Keep it at a distance, implement kicks, point strike. I like Jonathan Martinez a lot in this, probably to win a decision against Vince Morales. If we're looking at Vince Morales in his career, he does have a KO loss, and John Martinez does have 7 KO victories in his career. So I think, if we're doing any sort of parlay, maybe I'm more inclined to take John Martinez just on the money line, or subtract that submission result out of the bet here. So if we're looking at the double chance, KO decision, that improves our odds to minus 200. I think Vince Morales, his only hope at winning is to take down Jonathan Martinez on a consistent basis, or catch him on the feet, right, with something big, something nasty. But I'm sure the odds makers like this one to go the distance. They do. Yeah. So I think I'm inclined to say the Jonathan Martinez decision at -105, but it's never a bad idea to just, protect yourself. Especially, I plan on using Martinez in some parlay opportunities this weekend. So I wasn't super inclined to do that initially, but after doing some research, I think Jonathan Martinez should win this fight. The next fight is an interesting one. We've got Omar Morales taking on Uros Medic. Uros Medic seems like a solid prospect, a little bit of an underdog at +110. Omar Morales, slight favorite at -130. If we're comparing the fighters, Uros Medic, it's I'm going to take him on the money line. I'm not super confident in his ability to win a fight outside of round one. If we're looking at his career, I think he's only made it outside of round one time. Obviously took the bad loss via submission in his last outing. I'm not sure. Yeah, against Turner, that was a round one finish. So I'm going with Uros Medic just on the prowess and his ability to maybe finish Omar Morales, but that's a risky bet. Omar Morales, I anticipate him coming in here and, he's just got to make it dirty and make it a hard fight. I think once you get out of the first round with Uros Medic, I think, it's just a fact. He's untested. So who knows what you're going to get out of him at that point. I do think he's a good prospect, though. He seems like a good fighter, Omar Morales. He seems like an alright fighter, good kickboxer. So I would anticipate this fight plays out on the feet, and he's just got to keep it kind of dirty and maybe implement some leg kicks. That was the story of last week, right? My gosh, we saw some crazy leg kicks. 2 weeks ago, it was Chandler's front kick, right? We saw a few people throw it last week, but really those leg kicks, they're so damaging, especially when against like fighters who have a tremendous cardio. I forget who it was. Oh, it was Davy Grant against Louis Smolka. Like, Louis Smolka was getting rocked by Davy Grant. Davy Grant, what an entertaining fighter, by the way. And then in the third round, the corner told him, and it was great advice. Like, his leg was messed up. Just hit him with another kick. 2 more kicks, the fight was ended, right? So, I think that's basically what Omar Morales needs to do, is he needs to kick Uros Medic in the legs, tire him out in round one, hurt him a bit, send him into round two feeling not great about the fight performance thus far, but sometimes with prospects, you're just hoping they kind of blow up whatever game plans come in their way, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for with Uros Medic. If we're looking at the odds makers, I'm sure because Morales is the favorite, they like it to go the distance. Oh, they don't. Yeah, maybe that's a solid bet too, is because Medic's never, ever been outside of the first round, maybe it's worth exploring just an inside the finish bout, right? As far as Omar Morales, his 2 losses, 1 submission, 1 decision. Uros Medic, 1 submission. It's tough to lay money on Uros, just on the money line. So maybe in my round robin, I'm going with the fight doesn't go the distance at -255. I like Uros Medic, but if he wins, it'll be inside the distance, and then you're kind of protecting yourself in case he gets really gassed out after the first round and just can't make it the entire way. So yeah, we'll go with inside the distance. I think that's a solid proposal. Next fight, we've got Jolton Almeida taking on Parker Porter. I don't even know what to say about this one, to be honest. Like, Jolton's a crazy heavy favorite at minus 600. Parker Porter plus 435. Parker Porter, he's on a 3-fight win streak, and he hasn't looked bad. I mean, the competition hasn't been good. I want to say one of them was Chase Sherman. Parisian. Bideau. I mean, Parker Porter does a lot of things you like for the heavyweight division. He moves around a lot. He's got incredible output for the weight class. He can take a punch. He's big. I don't think he can compete with like the cream of the crop in this division, but he does a lot of things I like. Jolton Almeida, on the other hand, he's a really impressive prospect. He's going to be coming in here quite a bit lighter than Parker Porter. He's going to be the smaller fighter. And at minus 600 odds, it's just, I got some trepidations on betting on someone like Almeida at minus 600 against a dude who's so big. I mean, I do think he's going to take him down. I do think Jolton Almeida is the appropriate kind of bet to weight person to bet on, but like, I guess we're hoping Jolton takes down Parker Porter, and I'm not sure. I'm sure they like it to not go the distance. If we're looking at the fight props, minus 450, they don't think it's going to go the distance. I don't know. It's just like tough to see Parker Porter at plus 435 as the bigger fighter, as a fighter who's probably going to have more output. He needs to keep it standing for sure. If Jolton gets him to the ground, his jiu-jitsu is just too good. He'll probably put him out of there. We'll go with Jolton on the money line. As far as a prediction, yeah, they like the submission, I'm sure. I don't know. I kind of think the line's disrespecting Parker Porter for what we've seen out of him lately, but this is kind of a crazy matchup. I mean, Parker Porter, he's just not putting people away. So if he's going to get within striking distance of Jolton Almeida, that could be problematic. If he gets taken down, that could be problematic. As far as predicting the exact outcome, there's no way I'm laying money on Jolton Almeida to win via submission at minus 110 or KO. Maybe I would do same fight parlay. Maybe we could find something in here where we take like Jolton minus 650 and then we do like an under, and that gets us to minus 195, like Jolton Almeida and under 2.5 rounds. Like, that seems a little bit better to me, so I would probably do something like this. Actually, I really like that. Like, just kind of seems like logical as far as where we're seeing the value on Jolton. Like, I could bet on a submission, or I could bet on him to win in any type of way inside the distance and get similar odds. So, yeah, I don't know. Something like that looks good to me. You can't. I mean, you can bet on Parker Porter. I think if you do bet on Parker Porter, you're banking on him winning like. Oops. Let me get back to that fight. Because it is, and we've seen it, right? We've seen the heavy underdogs kind of have success, especially as of late. I think if you're betting on Parker Porter, you want to bet like the KO or decision, right? At plus 500. I think that's the smart way to go. I would argue plus 1100 for the decision, just because, like, I mean, he's not faced great guys in his win streak, but he hasn't been putting anyone away. It's not like he's been knocking people out, so I think the decision makes a lot of sense. So yeah, we'll go with Jolton Almeida under 2.5. That sounds good. The next fight is Joseph Holmes, looking like Mr. Monopoly, taking on Alan Amidovsky. Joseph 0-1 in the UFC, lost to Jamie Pickett in his debut. Alan Amidovsky 0-2 in the UFC. Yeah, this is kind of like, again, like that first fight, like, there's a couple philosophies. Like, if you're a big believer in either one of these fighters, like, yeah, I guess this fight makes sense if you're the UFC. But also, if you could kind of get a prospect one of these guys, that also might kind of help you build the hype and around an up-and-comer. But, I mean, I guess if... I don't know. I like Joseph Holmes in this. He's 6'4" compared to Alan Amidovsky's 5'10". He's gonna have the significant reach advantage in this fight, so I kind of like him. I mean, and he does have solid jiu-jitsu, and if we're looking at Alan Amidovsky, you know, he's definitely more of a stand-up artist. I don't know if he can win unless he really knocks out Joseph Holmes. I'm gonna go with Joseph Holmes on the money line. He is the favorite, and my condensation from my drink is running off and smearing the ink, so I can't see his odds on my worksheet here. So in my notebook, so we'll check it here. Here it is. Yeah, so Holmes is a slight favorite. We're actually growing, minus 195. Amidovsky, I mean, it just comes down to, like, he's just not been good. I mean, yeah, he does have, you know, 8 career wins, and all of them are via KO in his professional fighting career. I do kind of like this fight to end inside the distance. If I had to make a prediction, I would say maybe Holmes via submission. And that's what the odds makers like, too. I think if Holmes can get this fight to the mat, get on his back, get a rear naked choke in place, like, it's going to be a lot of problems for Alan Amidovsky. And then if Amidovsky's not able to close the distance on the feet, Joseph Holmes is just going to have that ability to kind of point strike with him. So I think this is a tough matchup for Alan. But that being said, like, you didn't see a whole lot of Holmes in his fight against Jamie Pickett. I'm just looking up for reference the result of that. It was a unanimous decision. Oh, Qatar put on a great performance, right? Yeah, it was close for sure. Couple of takedowns probably won it for Jamie Pickett, but not a great loss if you're Holmes. So we'll go with Holmes on the money line. If I had to make a prediction, I mean, I guess I'd say he finishes them via submission, but what round that would be in? Dude, if he gets Amidovsky on the ground in round 1, it'll happen in round 1. That's just how it works when you don't know how to grapple. So Eric Anders, we're on to the main card here. Eric Anders taking on Jung Young Park. This is a fight I definitely feel more confident on one of the fighters to win. Jung Young Park is a favorite at minus 195. Eric Anders plus 165. I think providing he doesn't get rocked by Eric Anders, like, I think Jung Young Park's gonna win this fight. he's able to wrestle. He's a decent boxer. Eric Anders, on the other hand, his path to victory is probably making this super dirty, clinching, pushing Jung Young Park against the fence, and he does have a great experience, obviously, in the UFC and in the octagon. But I think just the output favors Jung Young Park. I think, he's been decent. I think he lost to, like, Gregory's or something, his last fight. Yeah, Gregory Rodriguez. He was winning until he got knocked out, so he's just got to avoid getting knocked out, and he's got a solid plan and path to victory to win a decision in this. Eric Anders, on the other hand, like I said, I think he just needs to make it dirty, maybe be the one who's pressing forward. We'll see how he wears Jung Young Park's punches. But yeah, I kind of like Park and his tools to walk away with a decision in this fight. The odds makers, I'm going to guess they do like this one to go the distance. Yes, minus 175. I'm going to guess they like the decision for Jung Young. So, I think that's just a product of, having takedown ability. The ability will give them the wrestling advantage, right? And then higher output. He's going to have the higher output as a fighter. So, I think it makes a lot of sense. Go in with Jung Young Park. I'm probably gonna... I might use Jung Young Park. I might use him in a parlay opportunity. I do like him to win fairly comfortably. So we'll just highlight him. I mean, if you don't like him, you don't like him. It's fine. But I'm not going all in on Jung Young Park, but I do like him. I'm looking for people to like parlay with Holm and Chidi in this fight. I mean, obviously Jolton's line you got to figure out how to reduce somehow, but yeah, I'm just looking to parlay Chidi and Holm with maybe another fighter or two. Polyana Viana taking on Tabitha Ritchie. I mean, Polyana's going to come in with more experience, probably be the better stand-up striker. I'm going to just open this window. It's super warm. Just trying to see if I can get some more fresh air and cooler air in here. I don't even know what the temperature is. But yeah, Polyana, she's going to be the... she's going to have, I would say, a stand-up advantage in this fight. She does have jiu-jitsu skills in her own right, but as far as... a path to victory, I think Tabitha Ritchie's gonna have to implement some sort of ground game against her. If Tabitha's not shooting for 3+ takedowns and securing these takedowns early in rounds, like, she's not gonna win this fight. If she's waiting till like the last, she's testing herself for 4 minutes on the feed, and then she's going for takedowns at the end of rounds, like, that might not be enough for Tabitha Ritchie to win. She's got to get takedowns early. She's on a 1-fight win streak. Her only loss came via KO. Yeah, I don't know. I'm back and forth on this one. I'm going to go with Tabitha Ritchie. We'll go with the less experienced fighter. I can't do it. I just saw the height discrepancy, 5'5", 67-inch reach advantage against 61. I gotta go with Pollyanna, the vet, in this. I think she's just gonna be way better on the feet. She does need to avoid the takedowns. If she does get there, maybe she can threaten some sort of submission or something like that, but I can't do it, Tabitha. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pollyanna. Circle that here. I've kind of been back and forth on it. But yeah, we'll say Pollyanna. Good stand-up game. Has the jiu-jitsu. Maybe Tabitha Ritchie's afraid of the jiu-jitsu. Plus, you're getting her at plus odds. You know, it just... If we're looking at the fight props, I'm sure they like it to go the distance, and they do, but only slightly. And why is that? I mean, if we're exploring their win-by percentages, like... I understand Pollyanna has 0 decision wins. Professionally, but I think... Yeah, winning methods. So kind of weird, Vegas favors some sort of decision victory for both fighters, but they don't think it's going to go the distance. Okay. I mean, I do think this one's going to go the distance. Unless one of the fighters just gasses out and has an inability to finish the fight. And it could be close, right? If Tabitha's getting takedowns, but Pollyanna's dominating on the feet, and there's not too big of a discrepancy in control time. It could be a close fight. You could see maybe Pollyanna, if you want to do a like decision only kind of bet. Like, don't understand why because she's only had finishes, but it's a point striking contest. I just think Pollyanna is going to be the better striker, and then she can threaten the jiu-jitsu game. So I just think stylistically, like, this is a kind of tough matchup for Tabitha Ritchie. So probably a good fight to avoid betting on. Chidi Njoakwani taking on Dusko Todorovic. Chidi, 1-0 in the UFC. Had a KO win taking on Dusko, plus 195. Chidi's the heavy favorite at minus 240. Dusko, plus 195. I think Dusko's only path to victory in this is takedowns. And even then, I just think he's a good fighter, really good prospect. And Dusko's not going to be able to hold up. Dusko has bad striking defense. He does absorb a lot of shots per minute. 49% striking defense. I think Chidi probably gets a knockout in this fight. If Dusko's not getting into the mat and implementing a grappling game plan and staying safe the entire time, he's just gonna get dusted, in my opinion. So as far as the fight lines, they don't like it to go the distance. I'm sure they like the Chidi KO. Yeah, I mean, first was it Mark Andre, his first fight, Burial. It was a round 1 KO. I mean, it could be another early one. I mean, I would maybe consider, if you're looking for some sort of fun inside the distance bet to place, like you could do Chidi and under a round and a half, Chidi and under 2.5 rounds, like on the same game parlay. Like, do Cheaty, and we could do under 2.5, and we're getting plus 100 odds. Like, seems reasonable. I actually like some of these same game parlays this week. I couldn't figure out like a bet to place last week, but this week on some of them, as I'm working through it, there's some appealing opportunities out there, in my opinion. All right, the next fight we've got is Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Michael Pereira. So this is Michelle Pereira. This is Michelle's chance to get in the top 15, right? And then get a crack at the top 10. Michelle Pereira, I think he is top 10 material. He's super explosive, exciting. Yeah, he gets the reputation for being a crazy dude in there, but I'm hoping he's taking away lessons from all these opponents he's faced lately. I think of like his fight against Nico Price, and he was just like the whole time just like backpedaling, and he was so tired his arms were just by his side. And I mean, he can't get in that sort of form against Santiago Ponzinibbio. He's going to get put away, in my opinion. I kind of like Santiago. Kind of makes sense, right? He's more technical. He's a good boxer. Will probably, give Michelle Pereira a tough time. I don't know if I fell in love with Michelle's approach, and I'm just, I thought he looked better against Andre Fiallo. There's a really impressive, more of a power boxer, counter striker. Santiago's got a better jab, I would say, than what we've seen thus far out of Fiallo, but I just kind of like Michelle Pereira. I think he'll comfortably win round 1, win round 2. He's always dangerous from a knockout perspective, and if he does something early, that's kind of where you just hope he stays in himself, keeps a solid game plan. Very physically imposing, but Santiago's no joke at all. If we're looking at what the odds makers like, I'll roll with Michelle Pereira on the money line pick. Oop, my tab crashed. Here we go. If we're looking at the odds makers, they do like this fight to go the distance. I mean, I guess we have seen fights go the distance. Like, now I'm thinking about it, like, does Michelle Pereira, does he just project his punches and strikes and kicks a little bit too much? I mean, it's possible. He throws a lot of big, powerful shots, and does load up on a lot of his strikes. I mean, I don't know. We're looking at winning methods. One second, let me just... My buddy was calling. If we're looking at what the odds makers like, as far as the results, yeah, it's a decision for both of them. I think maybe a knockout. There might be some value on the knockout play instead of the decision at plus 175. I mean, there's a good chance Michelle Pereira is just going to be gassed out at the end of this fight, and there's also a good chance Santiago gets cracked early on in the fight. So, I think honestly, it's probably the fight I'm most excited to watch on the card. But it's a dangerous one to bet on. Definitely not including either fighter or any sort of result on like a parlay play. Let's move on to the last one. We'll display a little more confidence in this projection. We've got Holm taking on Viera. Holm, like her a lot in this. She's a favorite at minus 250. Viera plus 200. We haven't seen Holm fight since October of 2020. She is on a 2-fight win streak, and when we think of Holm, she's probably, I don't want to throw her under the bus, she's probably 40 at this point, right? Over 40? Yeah, 41, I think. Oh, 40. But obviously, terrific kickboxer, solid overall game, very, I think, physically imposing for the division, taking on Viera. I think this is a tough matchup for Ketlin. Stylistically, Holm, even though we haven't seen her in a couple of years, I think this is a great fight for her. And I would anticipate Holm to win this. I'm going with Holm on the money line. I just think we've seen some sort of gas tank issues from Viera. This is a 5-round fight. I think Holm's going to be the better fighter on the feet. So then Viera is going to have to expose her in the grappling department. I don't know. And a lot of people don't have huge success against Holm doing that. I mean, yeah, she's lost to some fighters, but when we look at her resume, I mean, her last loss was Nunez, right? I think Shevchenko might be on here. Oh, Cyborg beat her. Yeah, Shevchenko, Misha Tate. You got to be a pretty high-level grappler in order to beat Holm. I kind of like her to win a decision in this. I was exploring some different opportunities as I was just looking through the odds. I think I found a good one for us if we want to reduce her price tag from minus 250 to something a little better. I would say so they're gonna like it to go the distance, I'm sure. Yep, minus 225. I would say like Holm and over 3.5 rounds is a decent way to help reduce her price. But I do anticipate this fight does go the distance. If Viera is able to take her down on a consistent basis, like maybe she could win this. Maybe Viera hurts Holm really bad on the feet. We did see Holm get knocked out against Amanda Nunez, but I don't really see it. So let's go back to the UFC tab here. Just kind of want to put something together that I kind of like. I mean, Cheaty Holm, I kind of like that. Let's sneak in Jolton. If you're a big Jolton fan, improve those odds. Jonathan Martinez, I might throw in on there, plus 185. And then as far as results, like, I'm pretty confident Elise Reed versus Hughes, that'll go the distance, so over 2.5. Here we go. Over 2.5. I'm not saying like place a parlay with all these. I like to, do I like to do like round robin type things, so maybe Jolton round 1 and 2. So I'm assuming I'm going to get one, maybe two of these wrong. Maybe Joseph Holmes. I think Viera versus Tabitha. That, I mean, they don't like it to go the distance. I think there's some value. Oh, they do like it to go the distance. I think there's some value there. Oh, I like Jun Young Park a lot. Let me get rid of these. I think this is kind of gonna be my sweet spot where I'm making money, I'm making plays. Yeah, probably looking to explore some sort of round robin opportunity by mixing in some additional picks here, but I'm pretty confident in these results. We're rolling with that. Let's check. Has the NBA game started? It has, and the Golden State Warriors are losing. Wow. I mean, it's just the first quarter. I do anticipate Golden State wins this series. I think they've got a little bit more than the Dallas Mavericks. They got a little bit more than like anyone else in the league. It's just absolutely incredible how they built out that team. I think I did place a same game parlay on this, so I kind of want to, while I've got everyone here, check out the stats. ESPN's a dangerous place to do that. Let's do Warriors. Let's just do Google, right? We'll get the box score here. I did do a round robin today with some baseball games, and I took the Warriors. But let's do... And I do have a parlay with some baseball games and the Warriors and some fighters, but as far as the same game parlay, I took Golden State Warriors money line, Jordan Poole over 14.5 points. That's 0. That's great. Steph Curry under 28.5 points. He's already at 11. That's great. Spencer Dinwiddie 1 3-pointer made. Played 5 minutes, 0 points. Jordan Poole 1 3-pointer made, and Steph Curry 3 3-pointers made. So I don't know. We'll see. Like $25 to win 212. We'll see what happens there. On to the next portion of the show, where we go over Twitter trending topics. Oh, and I like the Heat in the other series just because of Jimmy Butler. And I do like their 3-point shooting ability. I mean, obviously, the Celtics, they do look scary. They're a good team. Oops, realized I'm on the wrong tab. Twitter trending topic. The world's a crazy place right now, right? Something about The Last Drive-In. Oh, a Symphony of Horror, which celebrates its 100th anniversary. So it's something on Shudder, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what that's about. Some WWE stuff trending. I do see... Oh man, it's always dangerous when politics are trending, right? I mean, So this basically just says the San Francisco Archbishop says Nancy Pelosi will be denied communion over abortion rights. I mean, it's my opinion, like, you believe certain things and you're willing to sell out, in the name of something worldly. I mean, that's probably an appropriate response, right? And what I mean by that is, like, there's obviously a conflict of interest between government and religion, but I think you need to, if you're going to prioritize one kind of topic over the other, then you got to lay in that bed. So I don't think it's wrong that she's denied communion. As far as her opinion, like, she's a Democrat, so that's the thing. Like, everything's so divisive nowadays. So you so compartmentalize, like, to a point. Like, you declare yourself a Democrat, you have to believe in certain things, and if you're a Republican, you have to believe in certain things. And I know there's extremes on both sides, and I think for the most part, like, the average person doesn't fall into extremes, but who knows? I mean, I kind of want to move off of this topic, but I think that's appropriate, an appropriate reaction by the Archbishop. If you're gonna deny your faith, then deny your faith. But I didn't, to be honest, I would have never even thought Pelosi was religious, Catholic, Christian, anything like that. Just because of her policies and what I've seen from her. So that's my opinions on it. We've got Aew Rampage, another wrestling event. Tommy Boy is trending. Callahan Auto Parts, right? Not sure what this is about. Oh, which two 1995 movies are you keeping around? Casper, Braveheart, Bad Boys, Mortal Kombat, Die Hard, Tommy Boy. I'm going to pick Braveheart and Tommy Boy. Bad Boys was fine. Die Hard was fine. Casper, I don't know if I really ever liked that movie too much. I did watch it, As far as, like, a scary movie, that was probably all I could handle up until high school, was a movie like Casper. I didn't see the 1985 Mortal Kombat. But 80, I think this is some SNL cast members are leaving. Man, I really like 80. I think she's a pretty funny. And Kyle Mooney, I remember him from I think it was Good Neighbor Humor with one of the coworkers, and then Kate McKinnon is also pretty cool. I don't know. When I was younger, I thought, man, it'd be so cool to be on SNL. I went to a couple of improv classes as I was exploring, who I was as an individual. I think it would be a fun program to work on. You do have to dive into, like, political content, but I don't think that's necessarily bad. And people say it's gotten, I don't know. I think we just fall in love like with our time and what we were used to, and change is always hard. But even to this day, I watch SNL clips. They pop up on YouTube. I'll give it a watch. Like there's some. I mean, just last night there was some Benedict Cumberbatch segment that popped up on YouTube where they were doing like Blue Bunny ice cream, and I thought it was funny. You know. I am Team Kanye, so fuck Pete Davidson. I don't know. It doesn't have to be like that. I don't know why I said that, but I don't think he's that funny. Trevor Story had a day yesterday. What's Gaylord? Oh, wow. It's a place. Whoa. So it sounds like a big tornado hit there. Prayers go out to them. Hopefully everyone okay, and if they did lose someone, that's oh, sorry for your loss. Films about instruments. Cowbells versus Indians. We bought a kazoo. Adventures of Baby Synthen. Flute 66. Jurassic Harp. The Trombone Collector. These are good. Yeah, some of these are tough, right? Edward Zitherhands, they have to reference a whatever the zither phone is. The clarinet. Let me think if I could come. I'm a big Marvel fan, so that's kind of what I was playing with in my head. I'm awful at this. I can't do it on the spot. But that's pretty funny. I think I just saw someone did like a Captain America one. Oh, it's SmackDown. Yeah, I mean, nothing else super compelling for me on here. So I think we're gonna go ahead and end the show. Playing some golf tomorrow, looking forward to that. Probably going into the city on Sunday. But yeah, we'll end the show here. We've ran a long time. I appreciate everyone that tuned in. If you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel. We are a little bit of ways from our NFT giveaway, but you'll qualify to win a chance to you'll qualify for a chance to win a UFC Strike moment. As long as you're subscribed, every time I run them, I'll do it for the subscribers. If you haven't already, like the video, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter. I think I've got it in my comments. I'm at a birthday party tomorrow night, so I don't know how closely I'll be watching the fights. I'll probably just have some alerts on my phone. to watch a couple of them, but I don't know. I'll be partying. I don't know if I'll be too interested in watching the fights. I'll probably just be keeping up with the results on my phone. Maybe try and watch them like Sunday evening or something like that. All right, everyone, have a great weekend. Happy Friday. Stay safe, and I'll we're off next week. So I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Looking for